Earth's Special Weapon, written by FarmWitch4275. Life has a funny way of making things complicated. I sat quietly at my station, staring at the ominous warnings, all surrounding a picture of this beautiful blue marble. This would be the only thing I would see reasonably for the next few centuries. This wasn't a commission I was expecting or what anyone wanted, but all of the universe's secrets have their place. Curiosity killed the cat, as the human's phrase goes. I wanted to know the truth, and I was willing to pay the price for it. The thing is, once you know, you can't forget. Once the truth is known, any lie you tell can get you killed, especially in this case. When we joined the Galactic Federal Council and became a greater part of the galaxy, we opened more than just our borders to traders and merchants. We opened a whole new avenue for our empire to grow. The galaxy was significantly larger and more populous than we expected, and considerably more dangerous than we thought. The rest of the galaxy was ahead of us, of course, and we were able to meet these dangers with relative ease. At least, mostly. We are the Scifi. We are adventurers, warriors, scholars. When we joined, quickly established ourselves as the galaxy's jack-of-all-trades. We all know about my people by now. A large empire on the northern fringes of galactic space, acting as the Federation's northern flank. We quickly earned a well-earned reputation for hunting pirates, an efficient bureaucracy, and one of the largest and most beautiful warship fleets in the galaxy. A century of service earned us medals, commendations, access to state secrets, and rights to one of the galaxy's paradise worlds, which we turned into the most profitable tourist destination in the known universe. But despite our best efforts, there were some secrets the Council refused to tell us, and we, Scifi, our entire lives are defined by our thirst to know. As it turned out, this was my own undoing. I still remember that fateful day. I was one of the few Scifi allowed into the restricted access section of the Grand Archive due to my service in hunting Cassavo, the Pirate Queen. In accomplishing great tasks, technology achievements, and great feats of daring or economic riches, the Grand Archive is allowed for a limited time as a reward option. The Grand Archive is a vault of knowledge that can be accessed by a very select few for a very short amount of time. It contains all of the collective knowledge of millions of years of galactic history, all controlled by a sentient AI known as the Librarian, and is believed to be an artifact built by civilization that existed before time. And we, of course, being a species defined by our thirst for knowledge, made every effort to get to that place that we could find. What brought me here, though? It started several years prior to my post here, while hunting a pirate warlord. Not Cassavo, a different warlord. I found some strange data files stored in criminal records, all referencing a planet called Terra and a species called Human, as apparently the pirates were strangely terrified of the planet. There seems to be an ancient code of honor of sorts around this world that seems to stretch beyond recorded history. They seem to have a strange, uncharacteristic reverence for it. It was as if someone told them a secret that only God should ever know. I took my evidence to the council. We had enough to track the warlord and put an end to him. I presented what I found and gave my reasoning for my suspicions. On hearing the word Terra, the council's meeting was hastily adjourned, and I was censured, told in no uncertain terms to never talk of that planet again, and given an extra fleet of ships to finish my pirate hunt in silence. It was the strangest thing that we had ever seen since we started working for the galaxy at large. This, of course, piqued my curiosity. Myself and a majority of my ship crew couldn't stop questioning what that was all about. We completed our mission, of course, and due to our victory, we were given 30 minutes to access 5 files. We had a job to do. We needed reactor improvements so that we had the tech to complete several capital ships. We were just having an odd time trying to figure out improvements to reactor cores and needed a bit extra to keep the projects from going over budget. So we were told to acquire access to some reactor blueprints and other such knowledge. I was an idiot. Curiosity got the better of me. The last query I asked the archive was about a planet called Terra. Instead of asking for mechanical data for our engineers to use, I asked about the planet the pirates mentioned. The archive granted me a classified file instead of an actual answer. It was just a blank data slate of paper with the words "Do not approach, Omega-level threat warning" printed in bold red letters over the picture of an oddly beautiful continental planet. The operators noticed this, and I was summarily arrested, the file confiscated and incinerated. It caused a diplomatic incident when I was incarcerated and forced to take a rather strange series of narcotics to make me forget about it. Luckily for me, however, there was a micro camera in my left eye that recorded it all. I was able to know this because I was able to replay the data later when nobody was looking. The council played it off as me accidentally finding files that could break reality, as the archives had that in them, apparently. Emergency measures had been taken in order to ensure I didn't accidentally think too hard and create a black hole plague of some kind. They backed this cover-up with a historic archive. There are 5 galaxies in the sky within close proximity to ours. 6,000 years ago, there were 6. So everyone believed it when presented with the evidence. And after I was released, I was lectured by both the council and my commanders about the dangers of being too hungry for knowledge. Too hungry, my fat thorax. I had put this thought aside for a time and began a grueling 2-year campaign to fight the pirate queen Cassava. Again, on victory, I was given the option to acquire more knowledge. Again, I asked the archive for a discrete copy of the file called Terra. Again, I was given the same classified document with the picture and ominous warning. And again, I was arrested for possessing it. This time, I was not forced to ingest narcotics. This time, I had a visitor. I sat quietly in the dark room, the only light appearing from the small hole in the door. I breathed softly, pattering my pedipalps on the hard ground in anticipation. What is it about this planet that scared them so much that this is what they did? What about this was so secret that this was what they needed to do? My train of thought was interrupted by the door opening and the light being turned on. In walked one of the so-called Kalmarian races, a strange bipedal creature with tentacled face and void, deep eyes, with proportions of a squid, slimy skin, and other such attributes. They always exude a strange aura of fear and despair. Some speculated these creatures were the children of elder gods, but no evidence ever came to light to suggest that. It was mostly superstition surrounding their odd ocean-based homeworld. "Kelthax of Clan Uln, I presume," he said, his voice low, monotonous rumble. "Indeed," I simply nodded, beyond being polite at this point, considering I'd been in the cell for 2 days. He wore a uniform I didn't recognize, with an insignia I'd never seen before. A mix of black, red, and silver. It somehow made him even more intimidating. "You wish to know why you are being held here, yes?" His tentacles wiggled with every syllable. "That's an understatement," I replied. "The council wants you to stop asking. Is that a thing that I can get you to do? Or are you Saranite genetically predisposed to finding answers to things?" he asked. I shrugged as I sat back on my prison cot. "What do you think?" "I see. Well, I have some bad news," he said. "Let me guess. I shouldn't ask, or you'll have to shoot me or something," I mocked. He pulled out a gun, a design I had never seen before, and aimed it at my head. "Yes." Hold on. What the actual hell is going on here?" I tried to hold my hands up and stay still. "I will ask again. Will you stop asking about Terra? Or do I have to make this look like a messy accident?" He used one of his tentacles to pull back a mechanism of the gun. It made a very menacing click noise, and the senator mounted on it turned around. "I don't understand what I did wrong," I yelled desperately, as a barrel was pressed into my head. "You are trying to know that which should not be known, which is why it is classified. Did it ever occur to you that maybe you should stop asking at any point, or are you so arrogant you just can't help yourself? I will ask again. Will you stop asking, or do I have to make this messy for the both of us?" he commanded. My mandibles chattered in terror. I just wanted to know something for my investigations. The damn pirates seem to worship this place for some reason. I thought it might help me track them down. You and I both know that is a lie. We know about the micro camera in your eye. We know you remember the first arrest. You don't risk this twice for nothing. I will ask again. Forget or death?" he growled, the barrel on the gun pressing into my chitin. "Yes, and the micro camera is transmitting to my men on my ship right now," I yelled. "Destroy that ship," he commanded to the door. "Yes, sir," a voice from outside the room responded. "No, wait, please don't. You know too much, and now your crew is complicit. It is either silence or death. What is it going to be?" I could see his tentacled finger was starting to squeeze the trigger. "Well, it looks like you—" "Hold on." He suddenly stopped and held a finger up to the side of his head. Okay, fine." He sat back and put the gun away. "What's going on?" "Third option. Silence, death, or service. I have direct orders from powers far greater than you can imagine. I have to either execute you, or have you make a solemn vow to never talk about this ever again. Or you can join the Black Watch fleet. Either way, you keep quiet. Nobody needs to care," he stated simply and glared at me. "I still don't understand." "I will tell you. But once I tell you, I can't risk you leaving this room under your own power. If you want to know the truth, then you join my fleet. But you aren't leaving the fleet if you join. Ever. Never. It's silence, death, or service," he said with a cold glare. I sat for a minute or two in silence, and the gravity of what was happening was finally setting in. And I had gotten the men on board my ship in trouble along with me. What choice did I have? I weighed the few options I had. This was too interesting. Every fiber of my being was begging me to know what was going on, especially to whatever gun that was. And I didn't want my men involved either. I'd gotten them in enough trouble, and now I was getting warnings of a dreadnought powering up its weapons for an accidental discharge. Stop, okay, leave my men out of this. Please just leave them. First Officer Morocco, delete this recording and swear to never speak of it again. The council granted us a leave of absence to recuperate for a future assignment and gave us some ship blueprints. I decided to retire and take a holiday in council space. That's all that happened here. Do you understand? I commanded into my ship's radio. A few moments of silence followed, the only sound being that of a warning that my ship's shield array mysteriously shut down. Well, we have work to do, so I guess I will congratulate myself on my promotion some other time. Oh look, whoops, there's a power surge, and it deleted all of our recordings. Looks like we're due for dock maintenance. Have to go home. Who wants to go for a holiday? I think we earned it, he replied. Baraka, this is Alpha Station. Disembark at your leisure. See you next time, the station operator said, and cut the transmission. That was the last time I ever heard my troops. That fixes that, doesn't it? Your turn, he stated calmly. I'll join your Black Fleet. Just tell me what the hell is going on, I replied. Last chance to say no. Last chance. Once you're in, you cannot leave. No excuses. The only way out is death. He retrieved his gun again and kept it at the ready. I said I'm in. What more do you want? I yelled. Fair, he said, and before I could ask anything, I heard the sound of compressed air, then black. When I woke up, I was inside of a ship I didn't recognize. I struggled out of bed, my limbs all straining as if I was now very, very tired. I stumbled over to the observation unit and opened the blinds. There, right in front of me, clear and visible, was a strangely beautiful blue and green marble. Terror. What even is this? I said to myself, or maybe it was the gods. Who knows? Welcome back to the land of the living, and welcome to the soul system, I heard a voice behind me say. It was him, holding clothes that he dumped on my new bed. You, come sit. You wanted to know, so come on. I trotted over groggily and sat down in front of him. Right, so welcome to the soul system, an isolated, almost forgettable part of the galactic arms, mid-regions. You are now part of the Black Watch Company fleet. We oversee and protect this star system, specifically its third planet, and the species occupying it, he said, with a strange tentacly smirk. Okay. Why, though? I asked. Here it explains everything. But do remember, there is no way out. Your duties start in the morning. Get acclimatized and I'll give you the duty roster, he said, and handed me a datapad. He smiled and then walked out the door, leaving me alone with my thoughts. I turned the datapad on and started reading. It was so much worse than I ever imagined. Earth, as it turns out, and the species that inhabits it, is a reality anchor, a singular point of function within the universe that keeps the fabric of existence tied down and functional. Everyone knows the basics of a universal reality theory that determines the concept of existence. Matter, time, space, dark matter, and all sorts of other things that keeps the universe functioning, expanding and existing, are dependent on a set of rules to keep it operating. Without these rules, reality wouldn't make sense. No math, no time, no space. Spontaneous creation and destruction of matter, chaos upon chaos. Nothing that exists would exist for long without change. That is why rock does not change into dust without impact. That is why 2 plus 2 will always equal 4. This is why you don't get heat without a source. Basic law of physics, gravitational force, thermodynamics, all of it, exists within the principle of these so-called reality anchors. Points in space-time in the universe that effectively cement the laws of physics, acting as a reference point the universe uses to expand, stabilizing itself as it does. The universe, or at least the mysterious force controlling it, uses these points as a means to remind itself of its own laws of physics. These reality anchors can be almost anything from a single asteroid in a wayward belt somewhere in the cosmos, a planet, a lone gas giant, or a strangely stable black hole out in the cosmos, deleting data the universe doesn't need. Black holes, white holes, and other concepts we still don't understand are the conduits that allow the universe to expand, contract, and acquire the matter to do so as it needs to. Reality anchors are what keep the universe stable during this activity, so that points in space don't suddenly become pure chaos, with spontaneously forming and exploding stars or worlds. Earth, and by extension, somehow, the species that evolved on it, is not only an anchor, but it is the central anchor that is responsible for the existence of our very galaxy. We know this because the Grand Archive, many centuries ago, a religious sect gained access to the archive and found out this wasn't the first time the galaxy existed. It was its 10th iteration. Something kept happening in the central reality anchor that kept the galaxy functioning. And for some reason, the universe relied on this galaxy's existence to such an extent that it expended effort and fuel to reverse time and modify reality to fix this fault every time the anchor failed. What happened? According to the Grand Archive, Earth was attacked by alien races, grand empires, and cosmic horrors on several occasions, and successfully wiped the planet off the map. This then caused a reality break. The universe corrupted, and a sort of glitched itself out. The species that caused this glitch was erased. The galaxy reversed time to a specific point, then rewrote the universe around it to exclude the perpetrators from existence. I won't go into further detail, but I shall put this simply. Earth exists because the universe needs it to. Humans exist because they are part of Earth. If either one is gone for any reason, reality itself fractures and the galaxy resets. The cause of the fracture is erased from existence, no matter what it is. Even entities of so-called old gods are not immune to it. They too are erased from reality in order to make sure that Earth remains alive, in whatever form it can. The purpose of the Black Watch fleet is to ensure the safety of the galaxy denizens by keeping Earth safe from these threats, keeping the humans ignorant of their importance to the universe, and keeping them alive in any way possible for as long as possible. If either one were to fail, all of us would cease to exist. I understand why this was kept secret. I understand why this was so important. I guess I now have a new job. End of story. I'd greatly like to thank our Tier 5 channel members, Casper Arnholt, John Creighton, Manatharia, 050, Dragzoon WRE, and Elijah Silvercross. Thank you very much.